right. So, Friday flow show. We're just gonna do our kind of look at flow here. There's hasn't been a lot today, but if you got questions on unusual whales, feel free to drop them in the chat. But we'll keep an eye out on for some flow to kind of look at. I'll kind of touch on some of the flow that came in today and what I didn't like about it. And this is recorded, so if you miss it or have to leave early, no worries. It'll get posted as well. But yeah, let's kind of take a peek here. And market time, I mean, just seeing a lot of put premium here and just kind of zooming out. This is one thing I kind of like to do. And Bruno, I know you and me were kind of talking about this a couple days ago. Like now when you kind of zoom out here on a 7-day session view, I mean, you can see a little higher put premium here, so that could be forecasting something in the future. We'll have to take a peek. Even popping out 14 days, I just kind of want to take a peek. Yeah, I mean, just overall, I mean, you don't see a lot of big spikes. I mean, your big spike there, kind of bigger spike there. Obviously, that's your outlier there, your big spike there on SPY, and then gapped up that day and then kind of ran up since then. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, it's kind of why I always tell people kind of you want to zoom out and get a whole view of everything going on. Because if you look just intraday, I mean, you're going to say, oh, puts are really, really elevated. And again, just kind of popping it out. Again, helps you get kind of a better context of everything. But yeah, market tide for the most part, just bearish here. Tesla's your big one contributing to the call premiums, which are bid side currently. Avgo your second, but yeah, not a lot going on. And then SPY, your biggest net put premium here. And let's take a peek at SPY's actual net put premiums here. So this is another thing we were kind of talking about. So you got SPY, and this is just with like SPY and QQQ because you have holdings that drive that specific ticker, but SPY, obviously you're seeing a lot of put premium here, and let's just pop this out. So today, yeah, a lot of put premium here. So this is very interesting to me. I mean, looking for a move down here probably. And your holdings, you can only see the same day holdings here. But a lot of, actually I want to go back to SPY here. So yeah, a lot of put premium here. Obviously a lot of put volume. Call premium bid side. And then look at your holdings. Yeah, holdings still ask side on your premiums for both, but let's see. Fell 2 points. Let's go take a peek at Microsoft for you. Yeah, it's getting beat up pretty rough today, it looks like. Let's take a peek here at the... Oh yeah, I mean, that's just been a slow grind down all day, it looks like here. Pretty slow grind down all day here. Yeah, that's kind of how that's looking. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft, I mean, you've seen bid side premiums here now as well. But let's just kind of pop back to the flow here. There's just not a lot coming in. I mean, these fills aren't coming in right at the ask. And like I looked at these ADMs a little bit ago, I thought these could have been a good possibility. But, I mean, just kind of coming in here and looking at the flow. Like, this is something that would end up in the spotlight flow where it's not matching my criteria, but the flow, interesting, but doesn't hit your rules. Like, when you come in here, let's go over here. Like, you just kind of see that IV here, 2708. Something in here I did not like, and I know I looked at it. Let's see, 2708. Yeah, there was something I didn't like about that premium. There was, looking now, yeah, I didn't like something about this one, but Wondering if it was in the flow when it came in, but yeah, this was a pass for me. Like these APPs. Do you know what strike that is, Bruno? I'll look it up for you. Let's see. I know everybody's talking about the 0-day toast. I'm guessing probably the 41.5 calls. Possibly. A lot of volume on those. 21 up to 32. Probably taking profits there. Like something like this. I mean, rules aren't really matching. That's the thing. And I mean, look at that bid-ask spread too. That's going to be rough on a 0-day. I mean, you can get stopped out very quickly on something like that. But yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the flow here. I mean, it looks like a buy. Then you got that spike up here. 10-17-43 call. All right, I'll take a peek at that one for you, Bruno. I'm just looking. I know people are talking about the 0 days. Yeah, I mean, that IV's all over the place. Like, that's something I would have passed on, especially with that spread. But let's look at the 10-17s for you. 10-17-43 call. So good, not multi-leg, not too far out of the money. Let's take a peek. So seeing where this flow is coming in. Again, I mean, right away here, obviously I'll get to it when we get up here, but like right away when I see this, and it's not a huge part of the trade, but you're almost coming in near the mid. I mean, this is almost even more towards the bid, which obviously it's reading as bid side there, but you have this flow coming in here, and you're not right at the ask. You're a little closer to the ask. IV pops. Yeah, I mean, like when it gets to something like this where it's mostly at the bid here at first, and then it kind of comes up questionable. If you made me pick, I would probably say they're buys, obviously, because your IV does spike here, and I just want to kind of see what else is going on here. I mean, you're getting a lot of net call premium too. I'd probably lean buys on those if you made me pick. What else do we got here for toast, actually? I want to see what we got on the day here. Some puts there, calls. Yeah, I'd probably lean with those being buys here. I mean, you're just seeing a lot of premium here, mostly at the ask on the calls. So I'd probably lean buys on those toast there, Bruno. Let's see what just came in. Just more guild multi-leg. And just not a lot. I mean, it's pretty boring, slow day here. Pop that market tide back up. Yeah, and just, I mean, kind of looking through, I mean, you're not coming in at the ask. These are up 12%. Like, I'm not going to chase something like that. I mean, you're 34% out of the money. Obviously, this is almost, I mean, it's such a slow mover where the risk to reward isn't really there. And just kind of looking at that flow, too. I mean, look at that IV. That is a big IV there. And you can also see, I mean, here's that original flow there, 195, and then you see that IV drop there. So coming in at the ask with the IV dropping, probably not buys. Could be selling at the ask, obviously. Up 12% on the day. Everybody's looking for calls. They're trying to chase. We can look at the ETHs for you. Should just keep that tab open. I do this every single week where I close the tab and then end up using it again. All right, let's look at the 919.33s right here. So a lot on these. No multi-leg, 1% out of the money. I'm going to remove that time filter just to see. We're looking here. That's your first chunk coming in here. So interesting here. So your spike in your IV comes there, and then you got a little down there. So you spike up again there towards the end. Let's look at the other flow here. Trying to find the big chunk that came in. Okay, some more repeated hits here. So then like here you see where that IV kind of drops a little bit. You're coming in at the bid. Let's go over here. Just trying to find those sections where that flow's really coming in. So this will give us another good view here. So again, you see that IV dropping when it comes in. Now again, it's not a 100% science where if the IV is dropping and that flow's coming in, doesn't mean the flow's not going to run in that direction. These are just kind of the rules that I use where I want that IV to increase versus drop there, but you're coming in at the ask here. So I mean, it kind of offsets a little bit. And then that IV kind of drops here a little bit as well. Let's come up to a little bit earlier here. 64, yeah. 75, 64. So then like your IV spikes here. Yeah, that IV is just kind of all over the place here. 564. Maybe 542. So then yeah, I mean like here you go, another example on that one where that IV is dropping. I'd probably let me come back in here one more time. See how we're looking the net premiums here. Haven't really seen a massive spike since we had that day, besides that little spike there. That's a tough one there. I probably wouldn't chase something like that. I know it's hard to not chase stuff like that, especially on a day like this where you're not really getting any flow. You're kind of trying to make everything work. If you gotta sit there and kind of digest it like we just did and do surgery on it to try to figure out, okay, let's make the flow work for us, just pass on it. But yeah, that's an interesting one there. And obviously, like I said, just because the IV drops doesn't mean it's not going to run. I mean, here's that flow 159. It's up at 176 right now. So like what you'd want to do is, so like with unusual whales, it all comes down to the filtering. So like essentially the trades I'm looking for, I mean, I'm digging through them all, and you can even filter this down. I keep more trades open, my filters open a little bit more just so I can kind of see everything coming in. But like this, you're gonna see like all like your trades that are more interesting here are going to be your aggregated trades, so all the highlighted trades here, and that's just a filter down in here. I just have that on. Those are probably the ones that I'm going to be posting more where they're kind of more interesting, but you do want to obviously take a peek. I like to look at everything obviously, but like I mean like some of this stuff here, like it's not going to show us that when it is just kind of coming in there like the mid, but like the A rated, and I mean this one's even showing here a little bit too. But like there is, let me show you, like, so like in your options screener here, like they have this tab at the top here where you're gonna be able to see other info, and like it's going to show you like unusually bullish trades. Obviously you still want to take a peek at them just because you know stuff at the ask isn't always going to be a buy. But like here, like the MSTR is 7 days out, I mean, obviously they're making a big move up here. But yeah, I mean, like they have the tabs where they kind of have the built-in stuff like long-term calls here. I don't really use these tabs that much just because I have my filter set up, but can get a lot of stuff in here. Cheap calls. So these are going to show you kind of a lot of cheaper stuff. I don't always recommend, obviously, getting the stuff that's like 15 cents a contract. In here, but yeah, I mean, you'll get a lot of that, and you can always filter this as well too, but kind of for what you're asking, this is probably the area you might want to be at as well. But like, this is where I pull all the hottest contracts for the day, the highest volume, all that in here. And this is just, I mean, all the filters, and they have a AI filter builder now too, so I mean, you can just describe pretty much what you want your filter to be. So obviously teaches you in here a little bit as well too. But yeah, the unusual whales, it just kind of comes down to filtering more than anything. Let's see what we got. Oh, let's look at these hood calls. These are kind of interesting. I haven't tried it, Bruno, to be honest with you. I have my filters that I've been using for years, so it's hard to say. And obviously if you use that AI filter builder, you can kind of adjust them too as well. But like hood, okay, let's look at these hoods here. So a lot of volume already. You're probably not going to be able to track this whale, but let's just kind of look. So it looks like maybe a possible small ad here. Big volume there earlier. Okay, well, you're saying it's 61% multi-leg already. So I was like, why didn't that hit my filter? Well, 61% multi-leg. I avoid anything multi-leg just because you don't know what they're fully doing. So like now this would read as a buy because you're coming in at the ask. That IV spikes, drops a little bit there, spikes. Let's just kind of look quick. Yeah, see, like if these weren't multi-leg and I didn't have all that volume on there already on the day, I'd post something like this. But that 61% multi-leg, not touching that. So when we come in here and we'll actually take a peek. It's your multi-leg trade. So it's a pretty messy multi-leg trade here too. And I'm not a spread trader, so I don't sit here and diagnose the spreads, but easiest way to do it if you do have a question and you kind of like the flow still, you can always just pop it into that profit loss calculator. And when you come in here, I just pop it to that table. So like, okay, it's showing that multi-leg is actually, they're looking for more downward movement there on hood. So that's one thing I like about the option profit calculator. You just pulls it in there automatically, and you can just easily look at it. Unless you're like a pro at reading spreads right away. Not me. Never had interest in learning spreads, really. I know there's obviously some basic spreads like iron condors and all that you can do, but I'm just not a big spread trader. I know what they are. I just don't trade them. That's the thing. I don't know who that is. I am not a fan of 95% of people that post on X. I'm just going to tell you that right now. A lot of them just post flow to post flow. That is how it usually goes. Like I guarantee you, like those hoods, you'd see somebody post, oh, these are calls here. I won't name. Hey, these are interesting here. Hold on. Sorry not to cut you off there, Bruno. I'm just gonna quick look at these. 1% out of the money. These look really interesting. 14. Okay, see, so like now these are pretty interesting. And it's almost a mid-fill here, but let's take a peek. Okay, so this is all probably part of the same trade, just assuming. So this is why you look at that raw flow. Like I guarantee you somebody's going to post this Carvana flow and be on X or wherever and be like, oh, hey, look, Carvana 0-day flow. Well, now after digging a little deeper, you see that IV drop and then kind of pop again there. It would be risky to take it. It's a 0-day contract, wider spread. And I mean, you're still seeing put premium here. You've only got 30 minutes or 40 minutes left in the day. Probably not worth putting the risk on for that. But I guarantee you let's just go look. Let's just go take a little look. See if we can find some drama here. Let's see. Let's see if anybody posted it. See, and like it concerns me. I don't know if this person's no. Oh, hey, they follow me. Awkward. I was gonna say. I mean, sometimes you'll see people front run contracts. They'll say, okay, we're gonna see Carvana run up or whatever, and they're front running everything. So yeah, I don't see anybody posting anything about the 0 days at least. Give it one refresh and see if we see anything. Nope. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like something like that, you're gonna probably see people post. I mean, I could name them, but I'm not going to. See, and like these Teslas here, let's take a peek at these. So 175 puts, okay, you see a lot of volume and a lot of size and kind of decent premium. Okay, well, you're 50% out of the money here. So a lot of net call premium here. And even if you look, so like this is where kind of just having time in the market comes in handy. Like these read as a buy. Like, hey, these are a buy. They are buying these puts. More than likely, these are a hedge because one, you're 50% out of the money. And sorry, let me come back here again. When we click on, I don't think it's going to let me. Okay, here's our option profit calculator. So when you pop this in here, come on, load. Okay, table. You would need by, what's Monday, the 8th? Monday's the 8th. By Monday, you're going to need a 12% drop in Tesla. So again, unless there's somebody knows massive news about bankruptcy or something, these are probably a hedge. Yep, exactly, Bruno. I mean, like that. See, like, you got people dropping money. I mean, this is probably not the same person. I mean, your timing's not really there. Somebody tailing this that doesn't know what they're reading or kind of understand just like the fundamentals there. Yeah, I would say probably Snorlax, and I would say he changed his name on Twitter. It's Stoner Man in here, but I think it's just Nicholas on Twitter now. I have to go look, otherwise it's gonna bother me. Let's see. Yep. So I would honestly just follow Nick or Snorlax. Those are probably the only two that I would honestly trust on Twitter, especially for flow. And I always call him Stoner Man because that's what he always went by. But he's really good with Periscope. I really suggest kind of, especially if you're interested in kind of the day trading and scalping, he's really good with the Periscope stuff. But yeah, like these Teslas, I wanted to show one more thing on those contracts. Sorry. Let's come back here. So like that's another thing too. Your theta, you're gonna lose 20 cents here. Your theta's 20 cents a day. Your contracts you're paying 14 cents. These things are gonna get pummeled over the weekend. Barring again, of course, obviously a big news drop or something like that. But yeah, no, Bruno, to answer your question, yeah, Snorlax or Stoner, I would trust their reads over probably anybody else on X here. So these are interesting. You're coming in above the ask. Let's take a peek at these DHIs 912. Not a lot of multi-leg. 2% out of the money. Let's look at that flow here. So we can get an actual read on these because we have flow before it. So again, this is why you always have to kind of look at that raw flow. Just kind of looking at it here, your flow is up. So now you do see a little drop in that IV here. But when we have our big premium and big size come in here with that spot coming in above the ask, now that's interesting to me, where this is probably something I would post. Your IV spike, interesting, and these are only 2% out of the money. So you would only need a come back here. So you got some tailing stuff coming in here. Could be some retail coming in here. Like when we look at the theta here, so I mean your theta is not horrible on those. So like now Monday when we open up, it only needs to drop about 1% from this level so you can get some profits. Obviously a little bit more than 1% there, but a 3% drop is going to get you 92% on those. So that is why it's always big to kind of know like your contract, like your Greeks on the contract here and all that here. I want to look at these again too. Yeah, like those are interesting. Let's look at these. Send DKs that came in 919.60 put. Good size, good open interest, or well, versus the open interest. That spot's a little concerning here, but let's take a peek. So 14-day put, you're up 8% on the day. Just want to take a peek here. A lot of call premium on that. Let's look at the flow. So yep, this is something I would avoid here actually. Take a peek here at the end. So okay, IV slightly drops when that comes in here. You're not coming in at the ask. IV drops, and then it pops again a little bit here. I'd probably lean with these being short puts. What are we, 11% out of the money? That's not too far out of the money, but a little slower mover, obviously, and you're getting a lot of call premium here. Probably would lean short puts on those. That floor trade at the end kind of throws it off because you have that big spike in the IV. You're coming in at the ask, but that's what I would probably, this is probably what would make my final decision there with that IV. Oh, I know the IV did pop there. Okay, never mind, but it drops after there, so probably short puts. What else do we got? I want to see if these Carvanas actually run. Now you got me interested because I want to see if well, nobody posting about the 0 day, so that's good. And then just let's clean up some of these tabs. Yeah, just not a lot for bid side stuff either. I mean, just not getting a lot of size and volume. This would be your interesting one, but again, it's not coming in right at the bid. And you're going to have to start paying attention too, because we're going to start heading into Q3 earnings here in about a month. So paying attention to anything overlapping earnings is going to be coming up again there too. But yeah, just not a lot coming in. I mean, just bad fills today. And for ETF flow, ooh, these are interesting here. 4,700,000. Oh, we got open interest on them already, but let's take a peek. See when that came in. So a lot of volume on these. Yeah, and Bruno, I really thought it was going to be a lot busier today with non-farm payrolls. Usually on the data days, you kind of start seeing a lot more action, but It's a short week this week too, so I mean, everybody's probably kind of taking a half day on Friday here before it starts getting cold out, and we usually see a lot more action on Fridays as get closer to the winter and all that. But these hydrogen puts here, I want to look at these. So yeah, I mean, like, these are really interesting. You have that IV spike coming in at the ask, huge premium, huge size. I'm just trying to make sure it's not part of anything else here. So we had 3,000 there, plus 10,000. Yeah, all this open interest is just carrying over each time. Not seeing any big drops. This one might be a... So this one here, you got 6,000 traded. So somebody handed off contracts here, about 6,000 contracts, because there's no change in that open interest that next day. Then somebody added that next day. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of contracts change hands here too, because now you have 10,000 traded on the 14th and not really anything changing there. Yeah, see, this is when it starts getting a little messy for me. You're seeing ads and then you're seeing contracts change hands. Like again here, another 2,000, but no change in the open interest. So yeah, like the flow might look good there, but that's kind of why you always keep looking into it. Interesting ones though. And I mean, like with the ETF flow, 312,000 for premium. It's not that big, because when you think about like the S&P 500, there's 500 companies in there. They're betting on all those companies dragging that specific ticker down, obviously. So I'm looking for more heavy premium in size. So like these IWMs here, interesting to me, but these are probably, I mean, quick little enter and exit here, 8,300, another 8,000 there. So that whale closed these that same day, or close them today. And a lot of the times with IWM, you'll see a lot of kind of multi-leg with those. But even like these SPYs, like these longer term 42 days out, when I saw these, so okay, these are down now. And earlier in the day, I took a peek at these. Here's your IV. Just kind of, you're seeing that drop as that flow kind of comes in, and see if we can see the beginning part of that. Okay, let's see. Sometimes it gets funky when you try to remove filters and all that. But yeah, like you can just kind of see, I mean, that IV kind of dropping there. More than likely part of that kind of same trade in this area here, these three. And just kind of combining that with that net premium there. I didn't like that. But this is something where, you have 42 days on this. If you like that flow, I would look for a support spot. Maybe open a position that way. I'm trying to find the SPY calls I didn't like. Maybe it was the QQQ calls. So like, okay, I mean, these read as a buy at first, and again, this is why you look at the flow around it as well too. So okay, IV's coming up, IV's coming up, coming in at the ask. Well, here's your big size and your big premium. IV drops a little bit. And this kind of comes with time in the market again as well too. Like, I wasn't really bullish on the day. Non-farm payrolls were not a good report. And with the June numbers being revised to a negative number, that's not good. Not good. And you can see the market kind of opened up flat and then we dropped. So that's, again, just kind of something with time in the market and just kind of understanding market fundamentals and all that. That helps a lot there too. So these Teslas, again, are these the same? Where's the other Teslas? Didn't we just have some other? Oh, the 175s. Let's look at the 265s. So again, another one where you're saying, okay, they're coming in above the ask, a lot of size, and decent premium for Tesla. Let's look at the flow. So, okay, these would read as a buy. You're coming in above the ask. Now, again, you are 7 days out. You're 24% out of the money. Again, unless something major happened over the weekend. If we come back here and look at the option profit calculator, and this is one of my favorite tools, especially if you're kind of newer to understanding fundamentals of contracts. Just pop in that table. Monday the 8th. You're going to need a 10% drop on Tesla to kind of start seeing some decent profits. If we drop 6%, you're still going to be negative. That's the power of theta. I mean, and your daily decay on that's 44 cents a contract. So something big would need to happen. So to me, this is telling me these are hedges. Could be wrong. Obviously, you know, something could happen over the weekend. But like stuff like that, just kind of with time in the market, you start to kind of notice that stuff and it just sticks out to you. Let's look at these MA. So, okay, we got some interesting MAs come in here. I always look at that bid ask first. Again, this is almost more of a mid fill. Not a lot of volume, not a lot of open interest. And this is what flow is too. There's going to be a lot more flow. Hold on here, sorry. I saw a tweet come across. I'm just trying to read it from unusual. The revised BLS figures now suggest that the over the last 1 year, the U.S. economy has created fewer than 30 new jobs. Okay. Sometimes when I see unusual whales tweets come in, I'm like, I better take a peek quick. But so like these, okay, interesting. 1% out of the money. Not really a lot of multi-leg. Again, over the weekend, you're gonna have 2 days of theta decay. Let's look at that raw flow here. And as I was saying, yeah, like with flow, you're weeding out the bad flow. There's going to be a lot more bad flow than actual good flow. I mean, you guys see, I mean, I probably post maybe 3 or 4 tops on a great day. There's going to be a lot of bad flow compared to good flow, and it's just kind of weeding it out. So like here, okay. Spike in your IV, you're coming in at the ask. Now let's pop this back and work our way up. So now you see that IV drop a little bit here. I just want to look at that fill. So I'm keeping an eye on that spot, keeping an eye on that IV. So okay, your IV is dropping a little bit here. Comes back up. Then you pop back here to 1902, and then you pop back up to 1903. That's all part of the same trade. So that IV is kind of all over the place a little bit. And with it being over the week, I mean, I'm not a big fan of swinging stuff over the weekend just because you have that theta decay and a lot can happen over the weekend. And actually, I want to pull this into the calculator just to show everybody. So opening up on Monday. See, you only need a 1% drop on those, and you'll get 38% on the contracts. So like these, you're buying closer to the money. You pretty much get what you pay for. But 1% out of the money after a 2% down day and over the weekend. Probably something I wouldn't post, but a lot of time on those. And even if you're 7 days out, if you like that flow, wait till Monday, get a discounted entry. That's something you can always do too. And this is just, again, time in the market and just understanding fundamentals of contracts and all that fun stuff. But yeah, let's take a peek at these. I don't think we looked at these APPs, the 9, 12, 440 puts. So a lot of spike in that net put premium, 7 days. So multi-leg 14%. Anything above 10% I kind of shy away from just because it starts to get a little messy. But we'll look at these just for the fun of it. 9% out of the money. A little far for weeklies. 250. So 69.15. 69. So they read as a buy here. They would read as a buy, so. But look at that bid-ask spread there. That's a massive bid-ask spread there. Got wider as we went up too there, but that's a little better here. I'd probably not swing these over the weekend, but these, and like these MSTRs, I'll tell you right now, these are a hedge. 30% out of the money, weeklies. Again, barring a massive collapse or something, and you don't have any flow to go around to kind of look at that IV. When it comes in, as I call these block trades, I just kind of ignore them. I like to see that flow around it just so you can kind of see how that flow's interacting with the other flows, the IV increasing when that comes in. Like we saw a couple examples earlier where you had that flow around the block trades that came in. Helps see all that, but yeah, just a lot of junk. And these guys here, the U's, just messy overall flow, just messy flow. These VSTs. So right away, this is why I didn't like these ones. 7 days, you have that spot price drop. Here's that flow, and we're just going to kind of take a peek at it here. So, I mean, the whole way up here, 51.14, 50.33, that IV drops that whole way up. See, and like, I mean, and that spot was dropping as well, too. So, yeah, like, to me, these are probably sells at the ask. 4% out of the money. That's not too far out of the money, but reads as an ask. And again, your rule, the broker knows if the only person who knows it, well, yeah, the broker technically knows, because if you go in here to, like, let's say, okay, Microsoft here, if I want to go out to the October, I'm just going to pick a strike. If I want to come here and I sell them, that's the only person that knows, well, the two people that technically know, the person placing the trade and the broker in here, but the broker doesn't release any of that info to anybody. It just shows as volume coming in here. So like I could come in here on the Microsoft, let's just say 530 calls. I could be selling these at the ask. So if I wanted to sell them at the ask 340 there, like I just put in 340. They just don't. That might be a question for Keith, because I'm not 100% sure on like what the kind of the rules with like in the broker and all that, but the broker's not going to release that info to you anyways. There's no way to get that actual info. The only way you're going to get that info is if you know the whale actually placing the trade, or somehow can get access to broker records, which would be illegal. So, but yeah, no, the broker's not going to release that info on what's a buy and what to sell, because then you're going to start getting into that information about, oh, well, that trader's name is this and this. I mean, because when you put in that trade, obviously all your personal information is going into that contract, so they're not going to release any of that. Would be nice to know, though, for sure, if we knew like anything, if everything ask side was a buy, this would be a lot easier. Trust me. I mean, if we knew everything ask side puts, ask side calls were going to be a buy, you wouldn't even have to look at the flow. And I mean, there's no way to know that unless you actually know the whale. I mean, it would be wonderful to do that. I mean, you just pop in here like, oh, look at all the call sells and put sells here. Let's just sell some premium. And then, oh, look at all the ask side calls and puts. Let's just buy the highest ones here because that whale's expecting them to go up. It would be awesome, but not going to happen yet. I am not going to say not ever, because who knows with AI and what's going to happen in the future and all that. Oh man, come on, let's get some flow. What's the market doing? And yeah, I mean, after that drop today, it's chopped. This is just untradeable. Just untradeable. Unless you're running spreads. A whole different story. But selling premium on something like this, easy. But yeah, just not a lot of... And like, these lucid calls. These are such slow movers for weeklies. You just need a big move on them. And like here, I mean, again, coming in as a block trade, you can't see the flow around it. Is there flow of what would it look like before it? Just a lot of junk. I want to see if anybody's hitting on those Teslas. See if anybody's posting on those Tesla puts. That's, yeah, Bruno, it's almost more than 50%. I mean, that's 90% of your job there is just kind of finding it. And it's like you find the flow. I mean, like, I don't know what it was that we were looking at a little bit ago. I'm like, okay, these look good, and then there's one little piece of flow that throws it off and it doesn't look good. Like, you'll probably get out of 10 pieces of flow that you look at, maybe one decent piece of flow. I mean, like, just looking at today, so I have obviously my results at 250. This is the entire feed for the day. The only flow that looked good to me were the C puts. And why did they look good to me? Here's your flow feed. So now this is a good example where that IV, I kind of disregard that. So, okay, here's how it's coming in on the flow feed. Obviously, live time, you're going to see it. It's popping in like, okay, there's C, the first one. I didn't like that first one. I'll show you why here. Then you have that second one come in. Okay, well, hey, look, that spot increased. You're still seeing that premium. And then you see that spot increase again there too. Now I'm interested in seeing those. So I come here and look at them. Okay, well, I see a lot of ask side premium on here. There was a lot of put premium at the time. Like to look at that flow. So then when we look at that flow here, now this is kind of, again, where you can disregard the IV a little bit. So you see that IV kind of drop in here a little bit. So I like seeing that spot price increase and that premium continuously coming in here. And I'll disregard that with that IV. I mean, to me, seeing that fill increasing kind of makes it a little bit, I don't want to say disregard the IV fully, but I mean, you're trying to get what I'm saying here. I mean, that spot price increasing is showing more aggression here versus that IV dropping. And I mean, have to see what happens, but no, it'll guess just like this. It'll just guess like we are. There's no way, unless you're that actual whale, you're not gonna know. You could try for the fun of it to drop it into AI if you really wanted, but I don't fully trust AI. I mean, it will make mistakes. It's not always 100% correct. The best thing I tell people to use AI for right now, like, I'll use it to format my stuff. That's about it, because I know the information I put into it is correct, but I don't trust it fully to just like run reports or anything. I like it more as a formatting, like, spell correct tool more than anything. Let's look at these TSMs that came in the 10-3-260. So siding on, coming in a little closer to the ask. Decent size. We already have some volume on it on the day. So these right away, these are something I'm going to wait. I'd wait till Monday. You have 1,000 contracts there, 1,002 contracts there. Don't know for sure if that whale is doubling down or these are being sold at the ask. These are something you'd have to wait till Monday to see if that open interest updates. Because this, if it stays at that 77-ish, 80-ish range, whatever, they sold at the ask and they cut that same day. Now, if that moves, if that's above 2,000 now on Monday, that will added those. So that's kind of one thing too with when you see those double candles come in that are the same size, have to be cautious. Now, like if we had another green candle come in here for like, let's just say 500 contracts, then just kind of using an educated guess, I would probably say they're being added then at that point. I'm just looking at your chart here, Bruno, quick. Yeah, see, and if you're really good at charting stuff out quicker and kind of have that time, like I wish I had the time in the day, trust me, to every piece of flow that I'm looking at, I wish I could chart it out real quick, but obviously it's pretty tough with a lot of the stuff that's going on in here all day. But like with like let's say you see something come in 40 days, like those Dow calls. Let me come back here. So like the Dow calls from a couple days ago. Like, okay, you see that flow come in. You know they're a little probably more mid to longer term on those. 40 days is a decent amount of time on the contracts. And like that next day, you saw that gap down. And I know there's some people in the group that took that. Now, something that I'm going to do, like if I'm really interested in that flow, I'm going to open up a chart. And I almost ripped my mic cord out there. Kind of pop it here. Actually, let's go back to the daily. So like, okay, if I'm, and this is going to be a really crappy chart. I actually don't chart on Webull. I'm just trying to do it quick. I don't mark it to close. So, okay, we were kind of in this little section here. Like, okay, I know we're kind of in a demand zone, it looks like. Let me pop this out to the weekly. Like, okay, I like this chart here. Like, very quickly, I know it's 44 days. Maybe I'm looking for a discounted entry to the kind of that bottom of that demand zone and then I'll move up. Because a lot of the times the whales aren't getting a very good entry, is a lot of you have probably noticed. And I always just tell people, I mean, when you look, I want to get out of here. Oh, I don't want to delete the trades. That would not be good. Oh, geez. Yeah, see, this is why you use filters. Otherwise, this is what your feed would look like all day. All right, let's come in here. And this is just something I do. I just keep it on an old date just so it refreshes for me. It's just kind of a mental thing. Look at these Carvanas. They're coming in again here. I just want to look at these. So, like, okay, those Carvanas are making a... I don't think they were the 370s, were they? Let's come back here. Oh, yeah, they were. Okay. Well, that 175 was the fill. They're at 374 now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that IV was kind of all over the place. So, a good example there where it's like, okay, well, the IV was incorrect there. And it's just rules that you got to follow, especially on 0 days. Something like that, you got to be kind of a little more cautious. But yeah, damn, I forgot what I was gonna go look at now. That Carvana kind of threw me off. What are we doing here? Let's see. Let's see how we're finishing. And it's just kind of choppy there. Dow. I forgot what I was going to look at. Dow. Oh, we will go away. Don't remember what I was going to look at. Man, getting old, man. Yeah, the Carvanas. Yeah, I mean, see, like, now it's running. Like, okay, well, the flow was right, obviously, but, you know, that IV drop said no. And obviously, hindsight's gonna always be 2020 with the stuff, but IV drops looks like a possible sell. It's hard to read it. I mean, you're 20 cents. You're pretty much it's a mid fill. And everybody was talking about those 0-day teal toast calls. I just want to see if it's making a move up. Oh, kind of moving up a little bit there. I don't know what the strike was or anything on that one. I don't have that strike, but yeah, those made a little move there. But I think that's gonna probably do it. I have the dog down here jumping on my lap. I'm guessing he probably has to go outside, so I'm gonna probably hop off here for a little bit. I don't want him to drop anything in the room, but yeah, thanks for showing up, everybody. And if you missed anything of this, it's fully recorded. I will have it posted in the live stream area here in about 20 minutes or so. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for stopping in.